2 days ago, the United States Department of Justice announced one of the biggest takedowns in the history of financial cybercrime. $700 million in cryptocurrency seized, gone. 503 fake investment websites shut down overnight. And two men, Chinese nationals who ran a compound in Southeast Asia where workers were beaten, tortured, and forced to steal billions of dollars from Americans, were arrested and charged. But here's part of the story that nobody's talking about. The people doing the scamming, they didn't want to be there either. Before we get into the takedown, you need to understand exactly how this scam works, because there's a very good chance someone you know has already been targeted. It's called pig butchering. Here's how it works. You get a message, maybe on Instagram, maybe on a dating app, maybe even a wrong number text. Someone friendly, attractive. They start building a relationship with you over days, sometimes weeks. Then, casually, they mention they've been making incredible returns on a crypto investment platform. They offer to show you how. They walk you through it. You put in a small amount of money and you actually see it grow on screen. So you put in more and more until one day you try to withdraw and the platform locks you out. Customer service stops responding and every dollar you put in is gone. According to the FBI's own data, Americans lost over $7.2 billion to the specific type of scam in 2025. That's up 24% from the year before. And that number only counts people who actually reported it. Most victims are too embarrassed to come forward. We're talking about people who liquidated their 401ks, people who sold their homes. One elderly victim, the FBI identified was surviving on disability payments, and he already started cutting into money he needed for food. And it's getting worse every year, because the people running these operations have turned scamming into a huge industry. Here's what most people don't realize. The person on the other end of that message, the one who spent weeks building trust with you, is probably sitting in a heavily guarded compound in Southeast Asia. They work 15-hour shifts, doing it against their will. These compounds are massive. Some cover over 500 acres. They look like small cities from above. Multi-story buildings, barbed wire, armed guards at every entrance. According to a United Nations Human Rights Report published just this year, at least 300,000 people from 66 countries have been trafficked into these operations. Most of them were lured the exact same way their future victims were lured, with a fake job offer. Customer service representative, IT technician, data entry, good salary, legal work. They get on a plane, and when they land, their passport is taken, they're brought to the compound, and they're told the new job is to scam people out of their life savings, or face the consequences. Workers were fined for failing to meet daily scam quotas, fined for falling asleep, fined for watching videos unrelated to work. Their $500 monthly salary was systemically wiped out through a relentless fine system, leaving them with nothing and no way to pay their way out. Morning assemblies, according to UN investigators, often included low-performing teams being publicly tortured as a warning to everyone else. The industry generated an estimated $43.8 billion a year in the Mekong region alone. Now let's talk about what happened 2 days ago. On April 23, 2026, the Department of Justice Scam Center Strike Force, a task force launched just last November, unsealed criminal complaints against two men, Huang Xingchang and Zhang Wenji, both Chinese nationals, both managers at a compound called Shunda Park, located in Berma near the Thai border. The DOJ describes Huang as the high-level manager and enforcer who personally participated in the physical punishment of trafficked workers. Zhang supervised the team specifically targeting Americans, and under his watch, one of his workers successfully scammed a single American victim out of over $3 million. That theft was celebrated inside the organization as a, quote, paradigm of success. After the Shunda compound was seized by a local armed group in late 2025, these two men didn't stop. They packed up and moved their operation to Cambodia, trying to start again. Then they attempted to return to Burma through Thailand, where they were arrested by Thai authorities working with the FBI. The FBI had deployed agents to Thailand after the compound seizure. They reviewed thousands of mobile phones and over 1,300 desktop computers recovered from the site. They interviewed dozens of former workers, and the case is still building. Another layer to the story is that the DOJ also announced the seizure of a Telegram channel, the first of its kind that was actively being used to recruit new workers into forced labor. The channel had over 6,000 followers. It posted job listings for positions in Cambodia. Good pay, night shift work. Some specifically sought candidates with American accents because the job involved calling Americans and impersonating bank employees and NYPD detectives. The script went like this. You'd get a cold call from someone claiming to be from JP Chase. They'd tell you your bank account was flagged for purchasing firearms. Then they'd transfer you to a detective, then to the New York Supreme Court. Through sustained pressure over WhatsApp and Microsoft Teams, victims were convinced to hand over their bank account information and transfer their savings. JP Chase, Microsoft, and Meta all took internal action after being alerted by law enforcement, but the damage was already done for thousands of victims. The Scam Center Strike Force has now restrained over 701 million in cryptocurrency linked to money laundering from these schemes. That money flowed from victims' bank accounts, was converted to crypto, moved through complex digital channels, and funneled back into the criminal organizations running these compounds. The Treasury Department simultaneously sanctioned a Cambodian senator, Senator Kok An, along with 28 other individuals and entities tied to his network of compounds. The State Department announced $10 million reward for information leading to the seizure of funds tied to the Tai Chang scam centers in Burma. And Operation Level Up, the FBI and Secret Service initiative that proactively identifies scam victims, has now notified nearly 9,000 people that they were being scammed, saving an estimated $562 million in funds those victims hadn't yet sent. 77% of those victims had no idea they were being scammed. 93 of those victims were referred to the FBI crisis specialist for suicide intervention. So here's what we're actually looking at. A $64 billion global criminal industry, compounds that look like corporations, workers who are also victims, and Americans losing their life savings to people who had no choice but to take it. The DOJ scam center strike force is making progress. 700 million seized, arrests made, websites shut down, but the people who run these operations don't stop. They move, they rebuild, they recruit, and they're getting smarter. AI tools are now being used to generate more convincing messages, clone voices, and create fake video calls that look completely real. The best thing you can do right now is simple. If anyone online, stranger or not, ever brings up a cryptocurrency investment opportunity, treat it as a scam until they can prove otherwise. And share this video with someone who might not know this is happening, because the more people who understand how this works, the harder it becomes to pull off. If you or someone you know has been targeted by one of these scams, report it at ic3.gov. That's the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. The more reports they get, the better they can track these operations. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Would you have recognized a scam? I want to know. And subscribe if you want to keep pulling back the curtain on how money actually moves in the dark.